Question 8. The life expectancy for males in 12 countries in Africa for 2015 is shown in the following stem and leaf diagram. So you've got all these numbers here. The key is the most important part is you can actually read this stem and leaf diagram. You can see 5/3 means 53, so everything just means 49, 50, 55, 55, and so on. How many of these countries have a life expectancy for males of less than 58? So the way you would look at it is, you've got 5 and 8 here, which is 58, so it's all the numbers below that. So it's going to be 56, 55, 55, 50, 49. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which should be 5. So for the above data, work out the median. Now the median is the middle number. So what you would do is, there's a couple of ways you could do this, but this is one way of doing it. You could find out how many there is, and you know there's 12. And all you do is just add 1 and then divide by 2. So we've got 13 when we add the top part of the fraction there. And then when we divide by 2, we get 6.5. Now that means it's between the 6th and 7th number. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the 7th, so it's in between those two, the 58s. But because they're the same number, you just have it as 58 here. You could easily add them and then divide by 2, but they'll just turn out to be 58. So the range is the biggest number, take away the smallest number. So the way you would do that is 73 take away 49, 7 and 3 take away 49. So that's the biggest number take away the smallest number, which would give you 24. So for question C, it says, in 1975, the life expectancy for males in the same 12 countries had a median of 49 years and a range of 30 years. Compare the life expectancy for males in these 12 countries in 2015 with the life expectancy for males in 1975. Now previously we worked out it was, the median was 58 and the range was 24, and that was for 2015. So we can compare it with the 49 and the 30. So all you're doing is comparing it. You either compare it with your median or you compare it with your range. So you can see this, the median is higher in 2015. So 2015 it was 58 and in 1975 it was 49. The range is smaller in 2015. So the range in 2015 was 24 and the range in 1975 is 30 from that one. So question 9, it says Sue is training to compete in a 10-kilometre walk. A diagram of her local athletics track is shown below. The track consists of a rectangle and 2 semicircles. How many complete laps are needed to ensure she walks 10 kilometres? So remember, this is dealing with perimeter, so it's all around the outside of it. So to find, first of all, if you were to take the 2 semicircles and put them together, you would get a full circle. So you can get the circumference of that circle. And to do that, you do pi times diameter, which is 50 meters here. So the diameter is 50 meters. And you find the circumference is 157.079. Now that means you've got the curved parts of that track. And all you need to do is add the straight bits there. So it's 150 below and 100 top and bottom, sorry. So we've got 150 plus 150 is 300. So when we add these two straight lines up, we should get 300 meters. After that, we just add it to get the total perimeter or one lap of the track, which is 457.0796 meters. Next, because we're talking about 10 kilometers, she wants to walk 10 kilometers, we're changing kilometers to meters so we can work it out a little bit better. After that, we divide with this. So this bottom one is 450, so that's the length of one lap. So we want to find out how many of those fit into 10,000. and we can see it's 21.87802 laps that it would take. But the question is asking how many complete laps are needed to ensure she walks 10 kilometres. So we need to round it up a little bit. So it's 22 laps would ensure that she would complete that distance. So for question 10, Pat buys, so this is question A, so Pat buys 30 boxes of crisps. Each box contains 48 packets of crisps. So remember, always look out for bold writing on these questions. He sells 80% of the crisps at 60 pence a packet. How many packets? So it's asking for how many packets does he sell. So to work that out is we do 30 times 48, which gives you, because it's 30 boxes of crisps he buys, and there's 48 packets of crisps in each box, we need to know the total amount of packets he has to sell. So we've got 1,440 packets. The next step is basically finding what 80% of those are. So because he sells 80% of them on this question here. So we do 80% of 1,440. Now 80% can be written as 80 over 100. And we can key that into a calculator and just work out that it's 1,152 packets. That was his 80%. So it says, how much in total does he sell them for? So what we're looking at is, this is your 80% you're bringing down, but he sold them for 60 pence a packet. So we just multiply these two together. If we multiply by pence, we get the answer in pence, and then we convert it to pounds on there. So that's what he sold. 80% of his stock, he got £691.20 for that. So he sells the rest for 20p a packet. Pat paid £25 for each box of crisps. Does Pat make a profit or loss, and how much is this profit or loss? So when you're dealing with profit and loss, you have to find out how much he bought it for and how much he sold it for, to kind of find about where his profit is or if it's a loss. So for this next step here is we do 1,440 take away 1,152. So that was how much that was your 80% he sold. So that's how much he's got left, is 288 packets. So this is how much it says he sells the rest at 20p a packet. So we're working that out. So it's 5,760 pence. We're timesing with these, and then we change it to pounds. So that's what he sold on there. Next, we find out how much he bought it for. So he knows, you know that there's 30 boxes of crisps, and it tells you there, Pat paid £25 for each box of crisps. So £750 is much he bought it for. Next step is £691.20 and £57.60. This is how much he made when he sold those crisps. So these are the 691 from previous answers and £57.60. So he made £748.80 when selling those crisps. So if he paid £750 for the box of crisps and you take them away, you can see that he made a £1.20. £1.20p loss. So it was a loss he made, and it was a loss of £1.20. Okay, for question 11, it is a scatter graph. So normally you get questions like this for scatter graphs. It says a group of pupils do a first aid course over 8 nights. There is a test at the end of the course. The table shows the numbers of nights each pupil misses and their test score. So on the bold here is basically what they've drawn on your graph. It says the first 4 points are plotted on the scatter graph and plot the last 6 points. So everything here is 1 and 82. So 1 and 82, we kind of plot it. 0, 86, 0, 86 is up here. So we're just plotting it on this one. And that's basically it. You just plot your rest of your points there. So for the next part of the question, it says draw a line of best fit. So what you do is once you've got all your points plotted, you just draw a line to try and keep everything as equal on each side. Just draw a line through. And this one here, it says another pupil missed 4 nights of the course. Use the graph to estimate their test score. So you can see the test score was 55. So they missed 4 nights of the course. So what you're doing is you take 4 and you draw up and you hit the line and you go across, and that's where the 55 comes from here. So they're expected to score 55 in their test if they miss 4 nights. And then it says what type of correlation does the graph show, and I've put negative there. So what you've got here is when the line goes down this way, it will be a negative correlation, or when the points go down this way, and if the points are going up this way, it will be a positive correlation. For this question, it's just negative. So for this question, it's question 12. This is just a mean from a table, from a frequency table. So each player in a group of 15 players scored 2 or X goals. So this is a bit more tricky than your normal mean from frequency table. You can see the number of goals on the left-hand column and the frequency on the right. Now to get the mean from a frequency table, we need to get the FX column on this. So you've got the FX column, which basically is just timesing across the way. So 2 times 10 is 20, and X times 5 is 5X. And then what you do is you add them together. So that'll be 5X plus 20 when you add that column up, and then you add your frequency column, which is 15. So to get the mean, it's the total of the FX column divided by the total of the frequency column. And that's what we've got here. The total of the FX column over the total of the frequency column. Now this is equal to 3 because in the question it says the mean number of goals per player was 3. So they've already given you the mean. So that now we've got to calculate X, and it's just like an algebraic question now. So next step is we multiply each side by 15. To get rid of the 15 on the left hand side, we multiply by 15, and we have to do it to the right hand side as well. So 15 disappears on the left, and we've got 45 on the right hand side. Next step is basically we get rid of the 20. We're taking away 20 from the left hand side, so we have to take away 20 on the right hand side. And the next step is basically we're dividing by 5 each side. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and then 25 divided by 5 is 5. So X is equal to 5.